If you're familiar with my photography, you know that I love to use really nice locations, and how to find them is one of my most asked questions when it comes to my portrait photography. The answer is not so simple. It's not as easy as just finding a decent spot on Google Maps and running with it. So in this video, I want to share with you my thought process and what I look for into a great photography location, and there are some real goodies in this video, so I hope you stick around. Also, if you're new here, hey, how's it going? My name is Tommy and I'm a portrait photographer from Melbourne. And again, in this video, I want to share with you my thought process into what makes a great photography location. Firstly, let's start with the concept and mood board. So for this photo shoot, this was the mood board that I used. And the idea actually came from a few different song lyrics and phrases which I have collected over the past few weeks. So these were, tell me your favorite song is stuck in my head, and tune in for love. And you can tell with these three phrases that there is a similarity going on between them. There's something about music or radio or some nostalgic feeling, and these are the kind of feelings and emotions that I wanted to get across in my photo shoot. What I like to do with my mood boards is to keep them really simple. I find photos that convey the vibe of the photo shoot that I'm going for, maybe some concept ideas, maybe a prop idea, maybe an outfit reference. So I want to keep it as tight as possible so that if someone else I'm working with, example with a model or a makeup artist, is looking at the mood board, they know exactly what I'm going for. It doesn't beat around the bush, and the 4 photos combined together should overall give a solid feeling of what the photo shoot should look like and feel like. And for this mood board, I found most of the images off Pinterest, which is a great place to start for building off a photography idea. What I found on Pinterest were these CD cases with flowers inside them, and I think this was a really good idea that we can potentially use for our photo shoot. Although I use a lot of flowers in my photo shoots, I'm actually not an expert on them, so I decided to call up the help of my friend Eunice, who is a floral designer. We decided to make our own floral CD cases for the photo shoot, and it was actually super interesting to see Eunice's process on how she would arrange and pick flowers for the CD cases. And of course, for the main point of my video, I want to talk about the location that we chose and how I chose the different spots to shoot in within the location. Firstly, one of the main things that I look for in a photo shoot is where is the light coming from and how intense is it. Although there were a bunch of different flower bushes in the gardens, all of them were receiving quite different intensities of light, and so this plays a factor into how I choose a location. Also in the gardens, there's just so much variety into what kind of flowers there are, how long they've been blooming, what color they are, and how densely populated they are, and these can affect on what you are looking for in your photo shoot. And the third main thing I was looking for within the location was, what are the other shooting opportunities? So although I had a plan of what I wanted to shoot, I was also keeping an open mind into other opportunities and other great locations that we could take advantage of. So these would be points of symmetry. So symmetry is generally a good way to create harmony and order in a photo visually, and also places where there were opportunity to have natural shadows, which can also look really good in your photos. Overall in the photo shoot, we shot in 5 different spots, and I want to break down my thought process into what I found in these spots and what I thought would make them ideal. And like I was telling you before about opportunities, I saw an opportunity with this symmetry of this location. Since there were so many flowers in this location and they're very densely packed, I thought that would look really great in a photo, and especially because it's symmetrical and even on both sides. One detail that I had to look out for was where was the available light. As you can see here, there are a whole bunch of shadows on the floor, and something that I usually look out for in my photos is a little bit of backlight. So there are quite a few reasons why I love to use backlighting in photos, and one of the main reasons is that you get a really soft and even lighting on the face. The other thing that I like about backlit lighting is that it gives a bit of dimensionality to the environment. So if you see a little bit of a highlight in the hair or a highlight on the shadows, this gives a bit more depth into the photo. What I like to do is to have some highlight in the photos to make them bright and airy, and also give some texture and depth to the environment. I'm really glad with how these photos turned out, and it's all thanks to keeping an eye out on different opportunities on your photo shoots and looking out for different things that you can take advantage of. Alright, so the second place that we shot was in this flower bushy area. there were a lot of identical pink and white flowers throughout the garden, but I want to tell you why I chose this particular spot when we came across it. Like the previous location, I love to use backlighting in my photos, and so I thought that the lighting was coming in a really good direction for this particular shot. So as the sunlight hits the back of the flowers, it actually makes them feel a bit more warm and dreamy. Also with backlighting, we were able to keep the even skin tone across the face, and this would make the photo feel a bit more even and beautiful. This kind of photo is very typical of my style of photography, and so it was no real trouble to shoot this shot. The third location was an interesting choice, and it was actually just a lonely tree in a wide grassy area. And the thing that I saw from this tree and this grassy environment was foreground and background elements. So besides our main subject, which is the model, you can also utilize other foreground and background elements to make your photo feel more interesting. In this particular case, the foreground element that I saw was this tree branch with a little bit of leaves on it. I thought that having some of these leaves in the shot could make the photos look more interesting and give some more dimensionality to the whole environment. Also, I loved how well maintained and clean this grass was, and surprisingly it was on a bit of a slope. And since it was on a slope, I wanted to kind of use that to my advantage and make the most of the greenery and minimal background that was available. With the combination of composition and depth of field, we were able to make the background look and feel like a minimal palette, and this actually gives more attention to our subject. So if you're able to frame your photo right, you're actually able to make the most of your subject and bring it out even more just by adjusting the composition of the photo. At first glance, this location might look a little bit less interesting than the ones with the flowers, so I thought it'd be a good idea to use the CD cases in this particular location first. Because the trees and the grass obviously don't have any flowers on them, this gives it a great opportunity for the flowers in the CD cases to shine a bit more in the photos. The next location was also from a tree and grass area, but the main difference between this one and the previous one was the lighting situation. For this particular spot, the lighting was more front on and direct, and this has its own pros for portrait photography. If you have that golden hour lighting and it's directly in front of your subject, what you're able to do is able to bring out the natural color of their eyes. This makes it look really dramatic and warm, and I love how this looks for our photos. The other thing that you can do with this lighting is some shadow play. So raising the CD a little bit higher so that it creates some harsh shadows onto the model's face can look really good in a photo. Although the location wasn't entirely photogenic, we only needed to make use of parts of it through clever composition and framing. The fifth and final spot for our photo shoot was actually outside of the gardens, so we did a little bit of driving around, and I knew that I wanted to find something very particular. What I was looking for was a grassy field with some of those little white flowers on it, and I think it's called chamomile flowers. I didn't know the exact location or the exact address of where these flowers were going to be, but I was expecting to find them as they're pretty common around this area. And because we wanted to do a location like this, we decided to bring another outfit which would fit more with this location. One key thing about this location which makes it slightly easier than the others is that I knew that I was going to shoot it top down, which means that everything on the side of the flowers didn't really matter to me. And that kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about for this portrait photo shoot behind the scenes. Hopefully you're able to get some new information and insight into how to pick and choose a good location, and also how to shoot portrait photos to tell a story. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you want to see more of these. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you're up to date with all my new photos and videos. Hopefully you guys can have a great day and make sure to take care and stay safe. Hope to see you all shooting more in the future, and I'm looking forward to making more videos with you. My name is Tommy, and peace out.